In this part of the lofted build project, I'm going to build the headboard by taking two of the posts that I built in part 1 and attaching them, then building the actual headboard and attaching it. Let's get started. The first step was to cut the upper cross support to length. This piece is made from two 1x6 polymer boards that I had already face glued together to turn it into a 2x6. I don't plan on needing to disassemble this piece, so I decided to connect it with pocket holes. Using my basic Craig pocket hole jig, I drilled 3 pocket holes in each end of the support. Unlike with the foot of the bed, the upper cross support for the head of the bed will sit flush with the back of the two legs. This will give it a cleaner look, as well as provide a few more inches for a small shelf that I plan to put at the head of the bed. After clamping it up, I installed 3 pocket hole screws on each side. Finally, using some spacers, I installed a lower cross support using a 1x6 cut to length. This cross support is positioned at the middle of the legs to match the corresponding one on the foot of the bed. Next, it was time to build the frame for the headboard. I first set the table saw up to create an inner rabbet on each of the pieces that would be used to make the frame. Once these pieces are assembled, the rabbet will be used to inset a panel. After that, I ripped the pieces to width, cutting 1.5 inch wide pieces for the sides, a 2.5 inch piece for the top, and a 3.5 inch piece for the bottom of the frame. I then followed up by cutting them to length at the table saw. Finally, I needed to add rabbets to the ends of the side pieces of the frame. These rabbets were cut to match the previously cut ones so that the side pieces could snugly overlay the top and bottom boards of the frame. Once all the rabbets were cut, I applied glue to the rabbets on the end pieces and attached them to the top and bottom boards. Then, using my Duratec positioning squares, I made sure to get everything squared up and clamped down that end. I repeated the same steps for the other side, applying glue to the rabbets on the smaller end piece, attaching it to the top and bottom boards, then squaring everything up and clamping. Finally, I cleaned up the last of the glue squeeze out and checked one last time that everything was square. Next, I needed to create the center panel for the headboard by edge gluing 3 1x4 boards together. After letting them dry for a day, I ran the panel through my planer to smooth out the seams and get it to the desired thickness. Once the planing was complete, I trimmed off one end to clean up the edge. Since the board was wider than what my miter saw could cut, I had to flip it over to finish the cut, but it still came out with a clean edge. I then cut the panel to width by slowly sneaking up on the cut at the table saw. Next, it was time to clean up the other rough edge and cut the panel to its proper length. Once again, I needed to flip the panel to cut through its full width. Maybe it's time for me to consider getting a sliding miter saw. I test fitted the panel into the frame and was slightly surprised at how nicely it fit. I then added a bit of wood glue to the edges of the frame and inserted the panel. After checking it over and cleaning up some glue squeeze out, I clamped the pieces together and used some old paint cans for some extra pressure. Next, I attached the headboard to the 2 posts using wood glue along the edges. Hopefully, not being able to disassemble this piece in the future doesn't cause me problems. In the end though, when you do a DIY project, you learn from your mistakes and learn how to fix them. So if it causes me problems, I'll just take care of it down the road. As you can see in this shot, I already have the side rails installed, and I will be going through those during the next video in the series. If you would like to check out the entire loft bed project series, you can find the link to the playlist down in the description. And if you click the subscribe button while you are down there, then you won't miss any future videos. Finally, it was time to add the center decorative trim piece to the headboard. After planing it to the proper thickness and cutting it to length, I applied some wood glue along with a few drops of CA glue to hold it temporarily and then fitted it into place. After letting everything dry for 24 hours, the headboard for the project is complete. If you enjoyed this portion of the series, don't forget to click the like button and make sure to check out the rest of the videos in the series by clicking the link below in the description. As always, thanks for watching.